Welcome to the Credit Mix, where credit and finance meets news of the week. I'm Sandra Bernardo, Manager of Consumer Education.
And I'm Kerrie Roberts, Social Media Editor.
So we know a lot of you parents out there are in full swing for back to school. It seems like, though, every year school starts earlier and earlier. I know I used to start like way after Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I remember we used to always start after Labor Day, and I always felt like the MTV VMA is so random. Was always like the weekend after school started, and so now I'm like, everybody's in school, and the VMAs just happened last night.
Right. It's crazy.
And we're in August.
Yeah, we're still in August, but certainly for many of you, you are, in the midst of your checklist, right, for your kids, whether it's buying backpacks and school supplies and all that kind of stuff. I know I've been doing a little bit of that because Luca, my son, he is not going to school technically, but his daycare, so it's kind of like school. So I'm getting him ready with all his, little stuff.
Right.
And so within that checklist, one thing we wanted to remind parents of and add to your checklist is protecting your children from identity theft, which many of you probably don't really think about, right?
They don't, exactly.
But it's a growing issue. In fact, last year there was a report that said more than 1 million children were victims of identity theft.
Wow, that is a huge amount. I mean, I wouldn't even think, I'm sure a lot of parents don't think to monitor their child's credit files, their identities, and thinking they could only be a victim of identity theft and not even realizing that your child.
Right, especially if they're just, babies, which actually, children and all the way up to, newborns really, as long as they got a social security number when they were born, are like a gold mine for thieves because they have a clean slate. And criminals can use their identity for a long time, probably without parents really finding out, right? So we wanted to get that on your radar, and in fact, we have a big campaign going on right now. And as part of that, we are trying to designate September 1st as Child Identity Theft Awareness Day. So we have a lot going on around that, and we hope that you can engage with us on social.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of content on social to promote the education and preventing child identity theft. Special hashtag that we're using too as well, which is hashtag Stop Child ID Theft. So anything that you'll see pertaining to child ID theft and the protection of that, we'll use that hashtag, and feel free to use that as well when you're sharing our posts.
Yeah, please share your stories if you've had experience with this issue, and spread the tips so that more parents can get aware. And as part of that, we have a couple resources for you. So you can always check out our blog at experian.com/education, and we'll have some stories on there about child identity theft with a lot of tips, which I know you wanted to share a couple tips too.
Yeah, there's a few tips I think can think of just right now, and I think the one thing besides protecting your child's social security number, but just kind of being clear as far as when you're using their personal information and thinking about, oh, my kid's just now starting school, maybe they're going to have some after school sports and sign up for a sports team or doing different things, and what information do they need about my child, and do they really need to have a social security number? Do they need to have all this personal identifying information for my child? So just being clear as far as why you're giving this information, what kind of privacy policies are maybe in place that they have in place to protect your child if you are giving this information. And so just being clear in that, and making sure that they really need to have their information, with that. And I think secondly, when it comes to social media, just monitoring social media and their online activity. I think that it's definitely a big, playground for identity thieves, and that's where they can maybe initiate conversations with children or find ways to get them onto a site, or vice versa, whatever it is. So just knowing, what are they doing on social media, what are they posting on social media, and what's their online activity, and like, not saying you need to be a helicopter parent, but definitely, just knowing what's going on and having those talks with them so they'll know, like, hey, I shouldn't do this in social media.
Right, or even you as a parent, oversharing, right, what they call overparenting, and you're posting personal information. So, you put out there the child's birthday, right, and then there's some photos that you're posting out there, and then, maybe, I don't know, you show at some point, people know your address because you're having a party. All of those things are pieces of information that criminals can, start start to piece together to steal an identity. Another resource for you is we have a new service. It's a free service called Child ID Scan, and you can take that first step to check if your child has an Experian credit file associated with your child's social security number. So go to Experian.com/childscan, and you just have to input some information, and we'll give a report back to you whether there's a credit file in your child's name and social. And if that's the case, then we have fraud resolution agents to help you, address the issue.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, another resource is we partner with the Identity Theft Resource Center, and they are going to extend their call center hours on Saturday, September 1st to answer any questions that you might have about child ID theft. And you can get more information about them at idtheftcenter.org or call the toll-free phone number. And then they're certainly open Monday through Friday as well, but for this campaign, they're extending their hours to September 1st.
They're an excellent resource for if there's child ID theft, and even for your personal as well too, if something happens to you as a parent or as an adult as well. So they're a great resource.
Yeah, definitely. So please engage with us. Again, use the hashtag #StopChildIDTheft, and spread those tips around. And then you can certainly always follow us on Twitter at #TheCreditMix. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.